Raw review for the November 18th episode of Raw. I'm Will, that's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. As always, let's cheers, talk about some wrestling.
Yeah, another pre-recorded Raw, but another live reaction from us. We obviously know the spoilers were out there again for this pre-recorded Raw, but we decided let's watch it as it's on TV and go right after it.
Yep. No spoilers. We were there. Anyway, let's go. Liv and Raquel start the show. They come on out. Liv starts talking smack on Jade and Bianca. She says that Jade and Bianca want to fight me, and they didn't come alone. Well, guess what? Neither did we. And she points to the intro, and who walks out? Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae. They all come out. And while they're walking to the ring, you and I are like, you know what? That kind of doesn't make sense because they just fought. Like, why do they like each other? And Nia immediately put that to rest real quick. She looked at Raquel first. She's like, I don't like you. I don't dislike you. I just don't think about you at all. And then she turned to Liv and she's like, Liv, we've had our differences. I don't dislike you. I don't like you. I don't think about you at all. I was like, okay, thank you for the answer there. But Jade, Bianca, and Naomi, you're all I seem to think about. You're always on my mind. And then she starts to say one more word, and Bianca's music hits. I'm on my own.
It is catchy.
Yeah, it is. It's a good song.
I do like it.
But Jade, Bianca, and Naomi come on out. And Bianca says, you want to do something, Nia? Then do it. Because we didn't come alone either. More music hits. This time it's Io Sky's music. And it's just Io Sky. Mm-hmm. And I was like, where's Kyrie Sane? She didn't get the invite. Mm-mm. No invite for Kyrie.
Nope.
Come on.
Nope, you got to be better than that.
Got to be better than I guess so. Because I would have hated to see an insane elbow off the top of a WarGames cage. That would have sucked.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Yeah, it sounds pretty cool. But
when Io comes out, they all walk to the ring. They're squaring up, right? And Liv goes, "Wow, Io, so cool." It's like, damn. Okay, Liv, give her a little credit. But she goes, "But Bianca, are you stupid? Because I don't know if you can count. You still only got 4. We got 5. We got the numbers. So if you want to do this, we can do it. We know how this thing normally ends when people get in the ring. When someone normally swings, so go ahead and swing." And when she asked him to swing, this is my brutality. Rhea's music hits, and she's coming out looking like Marilyn Manson, dressed head to toe in tight black outfit.
Marilyn Manson. I think it's almost like Jigsaw.
I mean, full black spandex, and she's wearing a mask, to protect the nose that is seemingly hurt.
She should have just wore like the same one Undertaker wore. Just do the same thing, same mask.
Same mask.
It would have been cooler.
It was like a Cody Rhodes mask.
Or do like a black mask.
Oh, we haven't been too much black. You couldn't even see her then.
All black.
She was decked head to toe in it, but she comes out and she's storming mad. She walks up. She already has a mic in her hand, and all she does is walk straight up to Liv and go, "WarGames!" Headbutt. Headbutts the Liv right in the throat. Didn't even get her in the chin. She got her like right in the throat. And so all hell breaks loose. Everybody's swinging at each other. Most, people not named Liv and Rhea, they go flying to the outside of the ring toward the entrance. Liv and Rhea head to the outside. Rhea throws Liv against the announce table. She's falling, but Liv is now being attacked by Rhea. So what does that mean? Liv must run. And Liv takes off into the crowd. I mean, she bolts. Bye-bye. And meanwhile, all the rest of them are fighting on the other side, and Miss Io Sky climbs to the top. She gives us a over the moonsault from the top turnbuckle to the outside of the ring, takes out absolutely everybody. We do get confirmation later in the night that we got the WarGames match. It will be Liv and Raquel and Nia and Tiffany and Candice taking on Bianca and Jade and Io and Naomi and Rhea Ripley. But this whole first segment, Rhea coming back is big. But God, I'm tough on this. Yeah, I'm gonna let you do it. You want to pop or drop it? You tell me.
Man, you know what's better than an insane elbow off the top of the cage? A riptide off the top of the cage. That's what we're thinking here. As for this, yeah, I'm kind of torn too. But if I got to go with my gut instinct, I'm dropping it. As much as like the star power comes back with Rhea Ripley and you've got storylines all woven in and out of it, I do think that there could have been a better fifth member to put in here, or even just another person, and you could have had Rhea stay off screen longer. I think that there was a growing fatigue of Rhea being pushed down everybody's throats. Well, was it 3 weeks now roughly that we've been without Rhea? I feel like that wasn't enough. Personally, I would have liked to see longer just so I can not be so fatigued. As for the WarGames teams, that's another, I guess, thing to look at. You have Team Liv that has 3 champions. You've got your 2 women's champions and Candice LeRae, who's the speed champion, and Miss Money in the Bank, and Raquel. But you still look at, I guess, Team Rhea or Team Bianca. I don't know how they're going to phrase that, I guess.
Yeah.
They're just so overwhelmingly overpowered.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to pop it. Just
is that why you're waiting for me to pop or drop so you can do the opposite?
No, I really didn't know, because I'm with you on the Rhea thing. I kind of was excited to see a Liv story that doesn't involve Rhea at all. Like, because even the Crown Jewel stuff with Nia, Rhea was constantly involved with it. So I was like, we're finally going to get at least one PLE where it's not Liv, Rhea. And then this happens and it's like, so that drowns me out a little bit. But the segment itself was quick, fun. Nia got her point across. So you settle kind of some loose ends there. And then obviously the Rhea return got a big pop. It's a good moment. So I'll go ahead and pop it. But in terms of, Rhea Ripley gets the return here. She returns, surprisingly. Like you just said, the growing fatigue of Rhea is obviously there. But we say that, and then she walks into any arena, and it's just massive pop. So it's hard to tell where the wrestling community lies on her, because it feels like the IWC online, which has its own reputation, is more toward the negative and the fatigue. But then she walks into an arena and it's amazing, and you feel like, okay, you got to put the belt on her right now because look how hot she is. So it's like, it's good that she's back in that aspect. She's the John Cena in terms of the crowds being 50-50 and everybody being 50-50.
I was going to say the Cody Rhodes, because it's kind of the same thing. Like, the IWC is like, man, I hate Cody Rhodes. The title reign sucks. And then comes out there and everybody woes. So yeah, it's kind of the same thing. But yeah, in terms of, I guess just looking forward into the matches, like that graphic they show later on, it's like, God, I'd pretty much pick Team Rhea, Bianca, however, like I said, however you want to phrase that team name, I would pick them in pretty much every single match. If it was one-on-ones.
Yeah, that match seems, on paper, it seems just, what in the world are they going to do to even have a chance? They, meaning Team Liv. Like, if the graphic has them like lined up almost to where you can look at it in 1v1 terms, like one team is sitting on top. And we were sitting there and I was like, if you just look at that, you take each one-on-one match here, you're taking Team Bianca on every one-on-one matchup. Like, I don't feel like there's anybody on Team Liv except for Nia maybe that has the advantage in this match. You could argue, no, you couldn't even argue Liv because Rhea's in there, and I would bet I'd bet Bianca would beat Liv as well. So it's tough.
You could argue Nia, and that's probably how they want us to do that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you look at Team Bianca, as we'll call it. So you have Bianca, Jade, Io, Rhea. Who's the fifth one?
Naomi.
Naomi, that's who I was going to make my point about. Naomi just beat Nia not too long ago, so it's like you're like, if you're looking at ranking them, like your last member, like your fifth member, fourth or fifth, depending on how you want to order it. She just beat arguably the one on the other team, and then you've got Rhea and Bianca, who they never lose. Those two alone, just by themselves, they don't ever lose. If it was Team Bianca, like Rhea versus Bianca, I don't know who I'm picking because they never lose. Well, now they're on the same team.
Yeah, on Team Bianca, it's like I can't even really see any of them getting pinned. Like, who's going to get pinned there? Like, you're going to have Jay take a clean pin on this one? You're going to have Bianca take a pin on this one? Like, Naomi is getting pushed to the moon, so I don't see her taking a pin. Rhea is Rhea. No one's pinning her. She's going to stand on top at the end of this. So it's like, okay, maybe Io. Io can take a pin, but Io is even so great right now. Like,
Well, and she's challenging for Liv's belt.
yeah, and she's challenging for Liv's belt. When the hell are we getting that match? What the hell?
So, yeah. I mean, to answer your question, I think you just answered it. I don't think anybody's getting pinned.
Oh, my
It's
God.
definitely Team Liv taking the loss at Survivor Series.
100%. Let's move it on because we could talk about that all day. We did follow this up with a mixed tag team match, which I was surprised to see. I like mixed tag team matches. I'm a fan of that. It was LWO being represented by Rey Mysterio and Zelina Vega taking on American Made, represented by Gable and Ivy Nile. It's good to see Gable. Good to see Rey. It's like, okay, well, this is going to be a banger because those guys are bangers in the ring. But Ivy would immediately slap Zelina in the face. They would roll out of the ring, and then Rey and Chad would start the match with each other, and they go back and forth. Ivy would eventually distract Rey while he was getting the advantage on Chad, and then they did this cool spot where Zelina would come into the ring to help after the distraction. Ref would focus on Zelina, and then Ivy Nile and Chad Gable would both be stomping a mud hole in Rey, and I was like, that's some good mixed tag team teamwork. But eventually we get a hot tag to Zelina, who would do her whole comeback, corner knees. She would try to do the suplexes. I'm guessing she was going to go for like a Three Amigos, but Ivy Nile would reverse that, get a clothesline, and she would actually kind of dominate the midsection of this match. Zelina would get a DDT off, and then that would lead to a hot tag on Rey Mysterio, but eventually Rey would go for some sort of springboard move, and Chad would catch him and do like a crucifix DDT, which was sick. But then he'd go to the top rope, and Rey would pop up and hit him and make Chad kind of do his he's on the top rope sitting there stargazing, and Zelina would run over, and Rey would pop up Zelina Vega, and she would do a Hurricane Rana to him from the top rope. I was like, that's a good. Those mixed tag moves against each other were sick.
Yeah.
But we'd eventually get like all the good stuff from Rey Mysterio. He would do the West Coast pop, all that springboard moonsault, get the 1-2 and then he'd pop Chad Gable back up. And I was like, well, Chad just kicked out of two big moves here. So here comes a Chad comeback. 619 to Chad Gable. He takes a pin. 1-2-3. Rey Mysterio, Zelina Vega win. Interesting thing happened after this match. The rest of American Made comes out. Brutus and Julius. And Chad starts yelling at everybody, kind of like his Alpha Academy days, and he starts smacking Julius in the face like 4 times. And I'm like, oh, are we getting another tag team breaking up here? No, it just pumps him up. And Julius and Brutus just start like headbutting each other. They like get really fired up from the fact that Chad's mad at him. All of this was fun. I really, really dislike Chad Gable taking the loss. But I thought the mixed tag match was fun enough, and I like the stuff afterward. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt here and pop it.
Yeah. Kind of a theme for the night was shown kind of here, at least the wrestling that we got, I thought was really good on this episode. I thought the in-ring stuff was phenomenal tonight. This was a really good match. It was really fun. Pretty much echo everything you just said, but that's why I'm giving it a drop. Because Chad taking the loss here, I guess I understand the weird thing after. He says I'm not a loser and he keeps smacking people. Like, I don't know, it's weird, but it's like, how many more times can they keep giving him losses? Like, I understand he's kind of loss proof in a sense, right? He's done it once before. He could probably do it again, but they put so much behind this American Made faction, and they lose to LWO. Their leader takes the pin to the leader of the LWO, and it's like, well, LWO isn't. I mean, they're not featured in anything.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I mean?
As much as I absolutely love Chad Gable, and I love the beginning of the American Made stuff, it's starting to feel like American Made is just the men's version of PFC. Like, I really don't want to say that out loud, and I don't like it because Chad has put himself over in his own right.
You said you don't want to say it, but you just said it.
I did.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just one of those things where when the group was created, it felt like WWE was going to push them as a faction to be reckoned with. Like, they were going to be a serious threat in the division, go after tag team championships, get wins. They don't. They always lose. And it's like, Chad Gable, you're lucky he's so over, because that if you didn't have that, you'd be just where PFC is, which is in like, okay, you're just a bunch of losers, be over here. Yeah. But I love American Made. Hopefully they don't continue that route.
Yeah, I mean, it's lucky Chad can talk and has some good character, because if not, that's where they'd be. But yeah, it's to the point now, especially it's just like, it's almost just like, why should I care? You know what I mean? Like, he went on that losing streak for so long, and then, the Alpha Academy stuff was there, and it's like, okay, cool. a fresh start. It's not a fresh start. It's the same stuff.
Yeah, just let Chad win, man. Just let Chad win some matches.
It just doesn't. I mean, like I said, LWO is not in anything. So like, loss wouldn't have hurt them there. You could have just given him a win.
Rey Mysterio he never needs another win.
Mm-hmm.
We still would love Rey the exact same. That's how I feel about it. Anyway, let's move it on. We would go backstage to the Judgment Day, and Liv Morgan's all flustered from Rhea Ripley's return, and Finn Balor is like, Liv, it's going to be okay. If it helps, I'll take it from here the rest of the night. And she grants him that wish. And when he does that, he turns and he goes, Dom, you beat Damian by yourself, all by yourself. You're the man, is what he says. You and Carlito are going to beat the War Raiders tonight. He said, go after their neck. I hear that that's their weak spot, but, what do I know? That might also piss them off. So you're Dom. Figure it out. You're Dom Mysterio.
Yeah.
And Dom and Carlito walk off and leave. And then meanwhile, when they leave, JD's like, hey, man, to Finn, I'm going to come talk to me over here. And they walk off. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing more to really say about that one.
Sketchy.
Mm-hmm. Mr. JD.
Dom did have a confidence, like a cockiness to him.
Damn right you did.
You're damn right I'm Dom Mysterio.
He got his own shirt with Liv now. He's living life good. He saw that merch money probably. Buying some nuggies.
Buying all attendees.
Buying some nuggies. We would get a Miz promo. Mm-hmm. He said, it's been an emotional couple of weeks. Looking back, I can honestly say that I truly hope that the Academy saw my performance. He goes, I deserve an Oscar. Wyatt's really thought they could control me. They can't control anybody. If anything, this is just a good audition for what's going to be a phenomenal Marine 7. And he named all these people who could be a part of it.
Yeah, he said Tarantino's last film.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
And Karrion Kross steps in here and he goes, the Wyatts are indeed not invincible. He goes, they will continue to play the game, but that game I control.
It's all about the game.
Now you play, Triple H came out. And,
a couple of things tonight, like that, and then later on, there was a promo where somebody said, "Look into my eyes. What do you see?" And I was like, "God, they're just taking lyrics from theme songs now."
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna just go ahead and give that a pop because I thought I that was like my biggest chuckle the entire night was the Miz doing the Oscar performance thing. I was cracking up.
Yeah,
there.
I'm gonna pop this as well. We're big Miz fans, obviously.
Yes, we are.
Miz can really kind of do no wrong, but I really thought it was important. I said last week when the Miz and Karrion Kross like bond, you could really see it. I said, oh, well, I hope Kross kind of takes that back seat and is like that sidekick to the Miz. And I thought the way that they did this promo, I thought was perfect. I liked the way that Miz kind of led, and then at the end, Karrion Kross kind of came in with his little stuff. It wasn't overwhelmingly Kross. So if Miz can continue to do the talking, Karrion Kross has some talking sprinkled in there, and he's kind of like the muscle of the two. I can see them being a formidable tag team. Eventually, maybe once those tag titles go to the War Raiders, maybe they can challenge for those, maybe.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Just get them in the actual ring a little bit more, you know? But we'd have Ludwig and Gunther backstage after the debacle from last week where Ludwig was trying to step up for Gunther.
Yeah.
He was trying to step up for his boy, and Gunther stopped him.
Yeah, he didn't do anything wrong.
Being a real dick. Anyway, Gunther walked up to him and was like, Ludwig, you do not speak for me. You need to realize who you are and make a name for yourself. Speak for yourself. Stand on your own. Look into my eyes. What do you see?
Yeah,
Yep.
That's when I said the cult of personality.
He goes, do I look like the old ring general to you? And of course, Ludwig's sitting there like, yes, of course. And he goes, Damian Priest cannot get under my skin. And he sends Ludwig off. He says some German stuff. I don't know.
You would think he would know what he was saying.
I would think. My wife is upstairs. We really needed her to translate there.
You had to do those lessons.
Yeah, but this weird thing happens. So it's suspension of belief, right? That's wrestling, especially when we talk about like people attacking people behind the camera because it's like, weren't they standing right there? So Ludwig and Gunther are talking smack about Damian Priest right here, and then Ludwig walks away, and Gunther goes from looking like you're Ludwig. He goes from looking here to looking here. And there's Damian Priest signing autographs. And Gunther's like, oh, perfect time for me. And he takes off his jacket. And Gunther runs over there and puts Damian Priest in a sleeper hold. He got him. And Damian kind of wiggles out of it. And Gunther goes to pick up a lead pipe to hit him with it. And Damian gives him an old low blow. Knee right to the crotch.
Gets him right in the gut.
Does he get him in the gut?
I don't think he gets him in the jewels.
In his little generals?
Yeah, I think he gets him in the gut.
Well,
he's holding his gut.
Anyway, Gunther, he's down now, and Damian Priest looks at Gunther and goes, "In the ring, you may be the general, but on the streets, I'm the king." I love that. I'm Damian's getting me back, man. I like it. Popping it.
Sure, I guess. Yeah. I'm excited for the Kaiser stuff, for him to go on his own, and Gunther kind of saying, go out on your own, make a name for yourself. And then you got Gunther kind of still having that self-doubt. It is funny when we talk about the suspension of like disbelief, because last week Sheamus walked by and he heard Bron Breakker talking stuff when he was walking by. But then this week, Damian Priest can't just hear him. Like, oh, he's right over there. I should probably pay attention. Yeah. Gunther gets that sleeper hold on him. A sleeper hold that's made dozens of people pass out.
Yeah, but they're not in the ring. They're in the streets. Play differently.
I guess so.
All I know is that it
was okay. I'm not going to sit here and be like, Priest is winning me back. I'm kind of just like, eh.
All I know is that no matter what you think about Priest, whether you think he's been overbooked to hell or whether you think that he's earned this booking due to his post-Mania streak, at the end of the day, when we were looking at the Survivor Series card and this match was booked, all of us were sitting there like, well, Gunther's 100% winning this, and like, okay, fine. We'll throw it into Survivor Series. At least we're getting to the point where they're making Damian feel like he has a real chance to win this. Us wrestling fans that follow the stuff all the time and think we know everything will sit here and be like, okay, well, he still doesn't have a chance. Like, Gunther's carrying that title. Like, we all think that. But this is good storytelling in the fact that, like, this is an interesting way to make it look believable that Damian can actually win this thing. I'm liking it a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a very fair point. I wonder if they add some sort of stipulation to the match. Maybe they do like a street fight.
That'd be sick.
Maybe because Damian's the king of the streets. Maybe you do a street fight.
That'd be sick.
Gunther's got to prove that he can fight in the street or something. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'd be down. Anyway, we'll move it on. In the middle of the night here, we get the IC title match. I was for sure that was going to go on last, but more stuff happened. We get Sheamus versus Bron Breakker for the Intercontinental title. And you see Sheamus and Bron Breakker in a match on a card, and you know what you're going to get. It was an absolute banger at this point. You know it. Fight would immediately spill to the outside of the ring, where Sheamus would basically throw Braun into the announce table, and then he'd throw him back into the ring. But by the time Sheamus got back in the ring, Braun was running the ropes, 23 miles an hour. And he gives Sheamus a good old clothesline off it. It's good stuff here. But Sheamus would then do 2 backbreakers to Mr. Braun, and Braun would pop back up, give Sheamus a suplex, throw Sheamus into the post, throw him off the apron, and then do his patented apron clothesline over the announce table into the commercial break move. Yeah. It's the best commercial break move ever. Love that stuff. Yeah. They're both on the outside, and Braun would go to the top rope, and Braun would do a freaking, like a swanton. He'd go to the top rope. Sheamus is on the outside. He's on the outside of the ring, and Braun would just like swanton dive into Sheamus.
Yeah,
I don't know what it was.
Standing up.
Yeah, he was standing up. And Braun, like, Sheamus tries to catch him, but he eats pavement.
It's like a swanton shoulder tackle.
It was weird.
It was badass.
He was putting himself putting his life on the line there. Sheamus would eventually hulk up and start slamming Braun, give him the knees, 10 beats, all the good stuff. Give him a top rope knee, 1-2 ooh there. Bron Breakker would follow it back up with a code breaker from Bron Breakker, 1-2 ooh there. But then we get all the fun stuff. We go to the top rope. Sheamus would hit a top rope white noise onto Braun. 1-2 ooh. And Braun would return the favor with a top rope Frankensteiner. It's awesome. I don't care. I'll watch it 1,000 times. He would go for a spear, but then Sheamus would reverse it with a huge knee. I mean, massive knee. I mean, it sounded like fireworks. Yeah. 1-2 ooh. Sheamus would then go to the corner, line up his bro kick, and Bron Breakker would return the favor with a spear. But no pin. Sheamus is smart, rolls to the outside of the ring. And this is where the fun begins. Bron Breakker sees a man on the outside of the ring. Well, that's my cue. I get to do my running spear. It's cool stuff. He goes for the running spear win. Ludwig Kaiser attacks Bron Breakker. And then he goes over there and attacks Sheamus. He does his drop kick to the steel steps. Ludwig Kaiser is making a name for himself, as Gunther told him to do. He looks at Sheamus and he says, I told you I will not stop till you're gone. So it looks like Ludwig is coming for that IC title. This is going to be amazing. The match was great. I don't like effery finishes. Okay, don't like the finish, but the match was so good. and I love Ludwig Kaiser, I got to pop it.
Yeah, I don't have as much a problem with the finish as you do. To me, it's just kind of like, okay, cool. We get another, another part of it. So now we'll probably end up getting some sort of triple threat.
Yep.
Which would be fantastic. You can sign me up for that. All three of those guys can go in the ring. He talks about he's not stopping until Sheamus is done. So maybe you eventually get Kaiser to get that belt, and maybe he goes after Sheamus, or Sheamus challenges him, or maybe it's supposed to be a triple threat, and then Kaiser takes Sheamus out beforehand. Maybe you get something like that.
What I hope is that Ludwig finds a way to take the belt off Bron Breakker down the line, whatever. And then that pisses Bron Breakker off, and then Bron Breakker comes for Gunther's title. And that's how you get Gunther into the world title scene. But either way, Ludwig is incredible, and we've been waiting for them to give him a solid push, a solid singles run away from Gunther. So I'm hoping that this episode of Raw and Gunther's words to him was that establishing moment of like, okay, we're not going to see Gunther and Ludwig together for a while here. Let Ludwig go find his own name.
Yeah, and he had a little bit of a push, but then obviously he got injured.
Yep.
So it's nice to see them focusing back again on that. Like, okay, he was really doing a good job. So it's nice to see them be like, okay, do what you were doing. Go out there.
Yep. We then pan to the back. Bloodline, a.k.a. Jay, Jimmy, and Sammy, they suck at recruiting people.
Mm-hmm.
And they continue to suck.
They don't have enough coach points on.
They got not enough coach points.
Yeah,
they're not hitting the holes like you should be in NCAA. Anyway, Jay is now talking to Seth Rollins, and he's like, "Look, dude, we all have beef with Roman Reigns. Hell, we all three of us here, we have beef with each other right now." Like he's like, he points to Sammy and Jimmy. He's like, they hate each other.
Mm-hmm. Then he's like, "Oh, and then we don't like each other."
Yeah. But just this one time, do what we're all doing and put your differences aside just to join us. And Sammy makes a good point here. He's like, just in the last year you did this, Seth. You hate Cody Rhodes. You and Cody are big rivals, but you put your differences aside for one night at WrestleMania. Didn't work out too well, but you did it. Can you just do that here? We just need one more. And Seth is like, no, you don't understand. I would stand by each of you. If you guys needed me. He even pointed to Jimmy. He was like, I would even stand by Jimmy. But I will never, ever stand with Roman. And it hurts me to even say that. This is what he says. I'm telling you, it's not worth it. All it'll do is lead to Roman being back in power. Not worth it for anyone. I'm going to drop Bronson Reed tonight, so he won't even make it to WarGames. But when it comes to your offer for me being a part of your team, I'm out. And he walks away. I was like, that's smart.
Mm-hmm.
That's very smart, Seth. You're making a lot of sense with your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
When we have the best part of the night, Dakota Kai promo package.
It is pretty good.
Yes.
It was pretty good.
Anyway, it was very, very quick. She said, I've been sidelined for months. People question your drive when that happens. Hell, I self-doubted myself for months and months. People, maybe people won't care when I come back. All that stuff. Am I good enough? Well, I want to make it clear to everybody I've never wanted anything more. I will show everyone that I am a champion. I am ready. Good for you, Dakota Kai. Good for you.
She's a champion. She's ready. It'd be a great time to get like a mid-card women's title on Raw, though.
Why is she not in the freaking U.S. title tournament? I don't care if it's a SmackDown belt. She should be in it.
That's why, because she's not on SmackDown.
Yeah, well, she could be on SmackDown. Bloodline.
That's why Raw should have their own belt.
The Bloodline could be on any
have
show
their
they
own
want to
title.
be.
Sorry, title.
Bloodline gets to be wherever they want to be. Why can't Dakota Kai go be wherever she wants to be?
I don't think that's how that works.
Yeah, it does. It does if you're the Bloodline. Bullshit. Maybe she should start saying yeet.
Maybe she should be the fifth member.
She should start saying yeet.
She's the fifth member of the Bloodline, so then that way she can just go on both shows.
Yes, I'm down. We would get our Dom and Carlito taking on the War Raiders in preparation for, trying to weaken them for JD and Finn. I'm guessing next week. I don't know.
I don't know. Joe Testor's like, they're going to defend those titles, but he didn't say when. Saturday night's main event.
Good Lord.
Watch.
Good. Really?
I don't know. I mean, probably.
Oh, man.
Well, long way down the road.
Dom would start with Eric in the ring, and Eric would immediately show that he is 4 times the size of Dominic, and Dominic would run to the corner and smack Carlito and be like, it's your turn.
Poor Dom.
Yeah.
Poor Dom.
When Carlito comes in the ring, Eric and Ivar, they decide to do a sweet-ass move where Eric picks up Ivar and power slams him on top of Carlito and squishes him.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that looks like it hurts.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually Dom would distract the ref, or Carlito would distract the ref, and Dom would take some cheap shots, and that would lead to Dom getting a tag in and start stomping a mud hole into Ivar and Eric. And throughout the commercial and even a little bit afterward, Dom would get a bunch of offense here, and I absolutely loved it. Make the guy, you have to give him relevancy, and you have to make him a serious competitor in the ring, no matter who he's fighting against, in order for us to believe in him for the long term. But Dom would do a suicide dive to Eric, and then he'd look right in the camera and fix his mustache. I had to write that down and include it. I was like,
it was nice.
That man's smooth. That man's smooth. But eventually we will get a hot tag to Ivar, who slams Dom around, clotheslines Carlito. He does his running butt tackle to Dom, gets a 1-2. It was a good one too.
Everybody's got running butt tackles.
Everybody's got a running butt tackle. He's part of the bloodline now. But we would get the finish here where Dom and Carlito and Eric and Ivar are all in the ring. They do a pop up. Eric would pop up Dom to Ivar, who would just immediately suplex him out of the pop up. Dom goes rolling out of the ring, and then they would do their tag team finisher called the War Machine, the War Raiders War Machine. It's a lot coming out of the mouth. 1, 2, 3. Eric and Ivar, the War Raiders, get the win over Dom and Carlito, but it's the Judgment Day. So what happens after? JD and Finn attack, and what do? They attack the necks, specifically of Eric, because I guess he had neck surgery not too long ago. Mm-hmm. So they're going after the neck, and it would end with, they were doing neck breakers to both of them, but it would end with Finn Balor doing a coup de grace to Mr. Eric. And then they would all pose. Mm-hmm. Everything's good with the Judgment Day at the moment. But this was absolutely fine. I like the War Raiders. I think that they're in a position where they're being overshadowed by the Judgment Day story, when I think that we need to be building a story kind of that includes them building their own characters. But being in the ring is what wrestling is all about. They're great in the ring. This was a fun match. I'll pop it.
Yeah, I'm going to pop this. I don't have any reason to dislike the match itself. Like you said, Dom got some offense in. Carlito takes the pin.
Yep.
War Raiders look good here. I did say to you after that match, they've been back for a little bit, and I feel like we haven't got any sort of character points to what you just said.
Bingo.
There's no sort of why should I care about them? I mean, yeah, they won the titles, or I guess the contenders match, and then they'll probably go on to take those titles off Judgment Day. But where's the vignettes or a promo from them, or I mean something? Yeah, the ring. Don't get me wrong, they're great in the ring. They're fantastic, but I need to see some reason to care about you. I need to get more invested in you. So I need to see more from that side. Hopefully we get that, but I don't really honestly know if either one of them can cut a good promo. So if you do those little vignette videos that they like to do, just do something like that. Make it short and sweet.
Yeah, I completely agree. Just at the end of the day, make sure War Raiders win those belts. Even if they don't have character at that point, let's get the belts away from Judgment Day. Mm-hmm. We will get a Wyatt 6 video, and my lord, did he look like Bray Wyatt? I mean, wow. I saw on the internet, just look it up. Type in Uncle Howdy WWE Raw on Twitter or something, and you'll see the vignette from today. I mean, they had Bo Dallas dressed up, and he looked like Bray. Absolutely insane. But he says, I tried to warn you. We offered you salvation, freedom from the past, but you and them denied us. I'm sorry for what happens next. You chose this. Your hands will be bloodstained because of your actions. You will lose what matters most. And remember, I never wanted this. So Wyatt 6 continues to come after Karrion Kross and The Miz. That's about that.
Yeah, not much more to add.
Then we get Dakota Kai got some love, and Rhea Ripley is getting some love. This is an episode for me. I like them. Anyway, Rhea Ripley had a little promo video, and she said, a phoenix burns in order to rise, but I am not a phoenix. When I got here to Raw, I did not burn. I rose. All I did was run through the women's division.
Yes.
She said, I always thought I was a phoenix, but I am so much more than a phoenix. I don't burn, I rise, and I'm coming for everybody. So it sounds like Dakota Kai versus Lyra Valkyria. Winner gets a title match. Just throwing it out there.
But see, I don't like that. That's where my mind went too, because I thought, man, you got promos for each of them, building them both up. But I don't want them to face each other. I don't like that.
You know what?
Because I like both of them.
Yeah.
And they both cut, obviously the face side of promos. So it's like,
yeah,
the PFC That's who they're beating.
Oh, dear God. Well, Kairi Sane's got nothing to do right now. You might as well throw her in there with them.
3 of them versus PFC.
That'd actually be awesome.
I mean, it'd be a good match.
And PFC would do the job.
Yeah, sign us, WWE.
Yeah, sign us.
We keep coming up with catchphrases, matches, storylines.
Titles and tendies.
We're doing it all.
Anyway, we get Alpha Academy is chilling in the back. That's what they do now. They chill in the back. They go Raw to Raw and they chill in the back. That's what they do. But they walk up to Kofi Kingston. They're kind of like, everything cool with you guys? And then Xavier Woods shows up and he's like, Kofi, I need to talk to you. Like, we all we've done the past few weeks is freaking yell at each other, man. We're the New Day. That's not what we're supposed to happen. Right now, we're proving Cross right. And Kofi's like, what do you mean we're proving Cross right? And Xavier Woods is like, Cross said that we're never going to be the New Day again. We will never be able to see ourselves as the New Day. And Kofi's like, yeah, that's what I've been trying to get you to do. Just see, we're bros. Let us see it that way. And Woods immediately takes that as Kofi yelling at me. And Woods is like, oh, so I'm the one that doesn't see the New Day, huh? Blah, blah, blah. And Otis gets involved and he's like, basically like, chill out, guys. Like, you guys are brothers. And then Xavier Woods snaps on my boy Otis and is like, you know what, Otis? This is exactly why Chad Gable left your ass. You're a bunch of losers. And I'll prove it to you next week when the New Day takes on Alpha Academy. And I was like, damn. I got to do it to Otis, man. He's just there to be there. But yeah, I guess we're getting that next week. Alpha Academy and New Day.
Yeah, we keep getting Kofi and Woods drama. It's like a long-term relationship or husband and wife. You can't see it my way. I can't see it your way. Yeah. We're going to butt heads all the time. That's just where they're at this point.
Yeah.
Can't wait for Alpha Academy to at least get a win next week. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Good point.
That's a solid.
We'll pop it. We'll pop it.
They also, I know online they have, I guess, said the day for the New Day, like 10-year thing.
Yeah.
But they haven't said it on.
Have they?
I don't think so. They keep saying, like, it's coming up. It's coming up. It's coming up. And I'm like,
yeah, it's
Can you just say when it is?
It's coming up at the same time as the Liv Io match and and all those other matches, the Judgment Day tag team matches. It was never going to happen. Anyway.
We're going to be 5 years down the line. 10 years together.
It's going to be at WrestleMania. We're going to be like, what the hell? Anyway, we get our main event here. We get Seth Rollins taking on Bronson Reed, and we looked at our watches, and we were like, ooh, 20 minutes. This we got something spicy here, because the last few main events of Raw have started with like 9 minutes on the clock, and we've been like, okay, well, what the hell is happening here? Mm-hmm. So we had 20 minutes to cook this time, and immediately shenanigans arrived. So they're Seth and Bronson are squaring off in the ring when Bloodline 2.0 minus Solo, so Fatu and Tama Tonga and Tagaloa, they jump over the barricade and they surround the ring, but they're not there for long because Jey Uso's music hits, and Jey, Jimmy, and Sammy sprint out there. Jey starts to take on Fatu. Sammy and Jimmy take care of the Tama Tonga and Tagaloa real quick. They throw them over the barricade, and then they all come over there. It takes Jimmy and Jey like 3 double super kicks to get Fatu finally over the barricade, and they just chase each other in the back. It's a funny thing to think about, just like Fatu back there, and they're all fighting and bickering while the match is going on. But match would begin, and Seth Rollins would immediately throw Reed to the outside, suicide dive on him. So we're starting the match out very hot with all this shenanigans. But Reed would come back and start absolutely dominating as well. He'd throw Seth into the barricade, Seth into the apron. He'd do that thing where he runs off the apron and does like a jumping shoulder tackle.
Oh yeah,
I was like,
yep.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Throws him into the stairs a couple times, but Seth would eventually move when Bronson Reed was trying to do his own running butt tackle to the stairs, and he would start to slam Bronson Reed's head into the steel stairs like 20 freaking times. We're like, damn, you're gonna give that guy some CTE. He's just making his way up. And Seth Rollins runs over. He tries to do a running, what's it called? Stomp to Bronson Reed on the steel steps. But obviously Bronson Reed wants to live, so he gets out of the way. We would get some springboard moves from Rollins, a couple springboard moonsaults and like swantons from Rollins. And each time he did this, 1 count.
Mm-hmm.
Big move, 1 count. Big move, 1 count. Big move, 1 count. And we're like, damn.
Wade Barrett was even on commentary. Yeah. And he goes, I laughed so hard.
Wade was selling it. And eventually this pissed Reed off. He'd get up and do a sit-down powerbomb to Mr. Seth Rollins. It was looking real good. And then we get all the fun stuff. So Seth would eventually be in the corner, and Reed would be up top, and Seth would slide down, do a power bomb to Bronson Reed from the top turnbuckle, basically. He would do a springboard moonsault again, and then we'd get Seth going for a pedigree, but it was reversed. But it was reversed again by Seth, and Seth would get him a good old super kick, sit him down, and then Bronson Reed would fall to the ground. Seth would hit a frog splash, and he'd finally get a 1-2. Ooh, though. No win there. Reed would get pissed off. He did a brainbuster on Seth Rollins. This dude has a bag deeper than you know. He would go for a tsunami, but Seth does the thing that everybody does now. When Bronson Reed's up there, just roll over there. So he rolls away from the tsunami. And Seth would reverse. So Bronson Reed would come over, pick him up, try to put him into a Death Valley driver. Seth would reverse that, hit him with the pedigree. 1-2, ooh, again. And Seth Rollins like, screw this guy. He stomps him once. He's like, no, obviously this isn't working. I'm going to go to the top rope and try to do a top rope stomp when Solo Sikoa's there. Solo Sikoa's on the announce table like, I got tickets. I don't know if he got tickets this time, but he was there, standing on the announce table. And when that happens, obviously Seth Rollins' attention goes to Solo Sikoa, leaving Bronson Reed some time to do some moves. He walks over, he gets a Death Valley driver, does 2 sentons, hits a tsunami, 1, 2, 3. Bronson Reed gets the win over Seth Rollins with the help of Solo Sikoa and the Bloodline 2.0. This match was fantastic. Bronson Reed's great. Seth Rollins is great. I love it all. Popping it.
Yeah, I'm going to pop it as well. We talked about, at least at Crown Jewel, we were like, well, why the hell would you give Seth Rollins the win? Why does it make any sense? That makes no sense. Well, I guess we found out tonight why they did that. Now it's tied up 1-1. You get all the Bloodline stuff, obviously. You got the 2.0 coming out there, and then obviously Solo costing Seth. So it looks like Seth now is going to finally give in.
Yeah, is Seth Rollins actually going to give in and join the Bloodline?
Yeah, I would say maybe, what do we got, 2 weeks? We got one more Raw and then that. So yeah, probably next week.
Wow.
There's no other reason why they would do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it just seems like that's going to be what we get.
Yeah. It's hard because logically it's like you're gonna let them screw you out of one win and that's gonna be enough for you to sit there and go against everything that you just preached the last 2 weeks of, I will never team with Roman. And he said it 100 times, I will never team with Roman for all these reasons that are completely valid, right?
Yeah.
And now just because Solo screws you over out of one match against Bronson Reed, you now feel that way. So he hasn't officially said yes yet, so we don't know. That could still be a no. People are still saying that maybe Paul Heyman introduces a 5th guest, so we're not 100% sure, but it does seem to be leaning that way towards Seth Rollins.
Yeah, I mean, it looks to be that way. Maybe we get that on SmackDown. Maybe Rollins makes an appearance there. I need to see some sort of Roman-Seth interaction.
Yes.
There's been way too much history with Rollins turning on Roman originally. Like, there's so many different layers to just that rivalry in and of itself. We've got to get them on screen, and it's got to be either SmackDown or it's got to be Raw. I would prefer SmackDown because I need it like now. Because you get the, Jimmy J, Sammy recruiting everybody. Well, they kind of haven't talked to Roman about that at all.
Yeah.
So it's like, how does Roman truly feel about this? We haven't seen anything on screen about how Roman would feel about that.
Yeah, that's completely true. No one's mentioned the name Seth Rollins to Roman Reigns because, even if Seth says yes and they introduce him to Roman may be like, what the hell no?
Mm-hmm.
You kidding me? He's the one who destroyed our bloodline in the first place at WrestleMania. He came in the ring and distracted me, and Cody was able to get the win. So
there's that, and then obviously the Shield stuff. Like,
well, yeah.
There's so much.
A decade of garbage to dig up between the two of them. So it's not official yet, but it's sure looking that way. But it was good stuff either way.
Yeah, and maybe Roman reluctantly says yes, okay, whatever, because we don't have a 5th member. So it's either this or no 5th member. But then you have Roman kind of feeling like he's on his own. He can't trust anybody in his own bloodline. That's what it's kind of looking like.
Man, wrestling's good.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we watch on Friday. Cannot wait. But we gave this Raw a good old-fashioned pop, 12 pops to 2 drops. You were a little bit meaner to it than I was. I understand. I understand.
It didn't start out very hot for me. I said, good gravy.
I was
not good.
I was teetering. I was like right there. But No tape Raw next week, so I'll be back to live entertainment. No spoilers. So good stuff.
Go home for Survivor Series.
Go home for Survivor Series. Wow. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, big video week next week from us as well then.
Yes.
Anyway, follow us on all of our socials at COD WrestlePod, COD WrestlePod. Listen to our podcast wherever you get them at YouTube, Spotify, Apple, etc. And if you want to come talk to us, like, subscribe, comment on all of our stuff on all of our socials. We love talking to you guys. And of course, we have the Discord that we were talking to all you guys tonight. Thank you for being in there. We absolutely love it. It's in our link tree in our bio. Hit all of our socials. It's a great time. But anyway, I'm Will. That's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast, and we will see you next time.